Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm Brad, I go by the Wayland, and this is my vlog on Truck Venture. So if you've been following recently, you know that I am on a quest to evolve this Raptor into the best possible Prelander I can make it, which is that hybrid between a pre-runner and an Overland rig. And today we have the first mod that we're going to install on that new evolution. And we are here at the happiest place on earth to do it. You guessed it, the Emporium of Oddities and Miscellaneous Things with Mr. Nicholas. So, before we get started, please like the video, subscribe to the channel. Now let's get to the install. We're going to get to today's build in a second, but first I want to take a moment to thank our sponsor for today's vlog, and that happens to be Retrax. And even before Retrax sponsored this vlog, I was a huge fan of the brand, and here's why. When I was building out this Raptor as an Overland platform, I searched far and wide for a bed cover solution that would work with an Overland rack, and there were not very many options I could find at the time to do that. And Retrax was the best possible solution I could find, and that's probably because of their unique design with a spiral track system that rolls itself into a canister and actually keeps it protected, but also creates that functionality of being able to use a bed cover with an Overland rack. And I actually started out with their baseline model, which was the polycarbonate version, Retrax ONE MX, and I put that thing to the test. I've taken it through the Mojave twice. We did the Arizona Trail. I even rallied this truck on sand dunes in eastern Idaho, and the bed cover never failed me once at all. So it's been amazing to have, and now I have the opportunity to upgrade to the Retrax Pro series, which is a full aluminum, rugged series of their bed cover line, and this one is the XR, which has a T-slot rail on the side of the bed cover, so you can attach things like a bed rack or a kayak if you want. It's just a really great system. Even being able to lock it at any place on the track is just an awesome feature to have when you're hauling stuff or you just need access to a certain part of the bed. So we're super excited to have the Retrax sponsor this vlog and get to this build, so check out the link below and let's get to that build. And we have Mr. Nicholas in his natural habitat.
Modifying my engine.
And here's a bag of burgers for you, buddy. You know, burgers and bad decisions, the thread of your life.
Pretty much. Okay, so yeah, I'm sure that lines up just fine. This is why you always have fun with custom stuff. I think that's supposed to... Oops.
Well, good thing you have a...
bandsaw and cutters
and a minor skill in welding.
Yeah. We'll see how this goes.
I got Nick some presents, and they are located in the back of my truck. No, not my Retrax cover. That is what we're going to do next. But, all right, Nick, see your presents.
Fans.
Yes.
Ooh.
Shop coolie action.
Considering the last couple of days have been over 100 in here, that is awesome. Thank you.
Yeah.
These will be useful. Thank you. Ooh, 20 mil electric. Shiny. Looks good for my house.
All right, before we get started on the new Retrax cover, I'd like to take a moment to thank my old Retrax cover, because this thing lasted 2.5 years and it was the Titan. Well, it lasted. So, this is the Retrax ONE polycarbonate, which is their baseline Retrax cover, and I didn't know what I was getting into when I first bought this thing. And it's worked out pretty darn good. I did know what I wanted it to do, and it did a great job of it, which is protecting my gear when I'm overlanding or driving around, especially being in a place like Oregon where it's super rainy a lot of times. And then also it turned out to be great when you're in the desert of the Mojave and protecting your stuff from sand. So either dry heat and sand or wet and muddy. It did a great job of protecting all my gear inside. But we beat the heck out of this thing over 2.5 years, and it's time for an upgrade. So let's take a look at that upgrade.
The nice thing about a Retrax is these are incredibly simple to install, and in this case uninstall. There's a couple of Allen screws that hold this cap in place, and just take these out, one on each side, and then there's a couple of brackets that hold the rails in place. Once the rails pop out, you just pull the case. Easy peasy. So Retrax says this is so easy you can do it in about half an hour, so I expect this to take us about 3.
Well, that's only because I make you do like 5 takes.
That too. Now, these are your standard brackets for any kind of tonneau cover, bed cover, canopy, stuff like that. Once they're loose, we can pull the Retrax. Last piece of this removal is actually a set of Phillips screws right here and right here that hold the railing to your roll-up container. Now, as part of the disassembly, we are at our first point where we can notice the major differences between the Series 1 and the Pro XR. The Series 1 has these side rails, which are a beautiful one-piece aluminum, but you notice they're a little thinner, whereas this Pro Style XR is a very large, very heavy-duty cast piece with this textured finish, and in our case, this actually also includes a structurally sound rail, which you can use for mounting bed racks and various other hardware. So just as a note for those who are doing these jobs, it's probably recommended to put something underneath the rolling section of your Retrax as you're taking these rails off, because when you take the second rail off, it's just going to fall into the bed of the truck. So at this point, I am going to need Brad's help for a second, because now comes the fun part. We get to lift this thing out.
He needs my help, so you are going to live here. I don't know if this is going to work, but maybe it'll work.
Okay, so I just need you to lift up on this side. You can grab by this bar on the back, and it might be a little pushed. There we go. And then that's it. It doesn't weigh anything. So, and there we are.
Old one out.
Old one out.
Any thoughts of the old canister? Boy, it's gotten some time, didn't it? Like
It has definitely seen its fair share of abuses. We were not gentle with this. We've never been gentle with this, and considering this is a polycarbonate, this has held up incredibly well. I mean, we've dented the ever-living crap out of this thing. We've loaded it up to bear and had things jumping around in the back of the truck at very high double-digit speeds in the middle of the desert. And yet, still here. The main reason for upgrading is we're going to something even beefier. One of the really big advantages of this new Retrax bed cover is that we are going to be able to get rid of these large reinforcement brackets that we had built for the previous bed rack. We'd installed these because the previous bed rack mounted out and with an angled piece and put a huge amount of load on these aluminum bed sides, which actually ended up causing denting. So we fabricated these custom brackets and reinforcement plates to help disperse the load. But with the new Retrax, they have a built-in rail system that we're going to be able to use to mount a bed rack directly to it and disperse the load over the whole length of the truck bed. So these guys are no longer necessary. And now for the incredibly difficult 15-minute install of this. It's going to require 3 very specialized tools. A 3mm Allen wrench, which they include, a 13mm socket, and a Phillips screwdriver. And first, I'm going to tip it onto its sitting position. You'll notice on the new one, nice hard aluminum panels with a good powder coating on them. I think that's powder. Yeah, it's powder coating. Beautifully done. Peel the foam off the sides. As soon as you pull the side covers, the first thing it wants you to do is remove all the shipping brackets. So once you remove the screw, and there's a label pointing to it, this is a shipping bracket that they want you to pull out. They also want you to save this for spacing purposes later. And this spacing tube comes out as well. This is to keep the ReTrax from rattling around during shipping. And now we repeat on the other side. We open their nice little bag of screws. Note the included 3mm Allen. I'm using my fancy snap-on one because I'm fancy. I recommend finding something to lean the other end up against. In this case, I'm literally using the shipping packing that they shipped it with. Makes screwing them in a whole lot easier. Don't forget to go ahead and unlock your ReTrax cover, because the handle will actually stop the rail from inserting itself. So what you do, take your nice fancy rail here and just slide it on in. You want these aluminum pieces on the inside right like that as you bolt everything together. But don't forget to do both sides before you start screwing it together. Makes life a lot easier. So as soon as you have both sides installed, and that's just to get the tracks to actually roll in the rails inside here, then just insert your 4 screws, 2 on each side. Alright, once your side rails are mounted, you just feed in the rear cover piece. Slots in like so.
And this is what the ReTrax looks like completed out of the truck, ready to get installed. All assembled.
That's it.
We gotta put that hose in.
Yeah, well, we gotta put the hoses in and the brackets. So.
And quick and easy 2-man lift and install. Looking good.
One of the final things I noted with differences in hardware and things like that, durability and build beefiness, with the ReTrax One, you get a very, very serviceable, very solid, all aluminum bed mounting bracket. With the Pro series, the XR like we have here, you get a much bigger bracket that also includes an adjuster to keep the bracket exactly level with the bed of the truck and a larger surface area for the inside. Kind of cool. So now remove the plastic, and now the last step, install the drain tubes. Since we already have our holes drilled, you just poke them on in. There they are. Easy. So one of the really cool features about the XR Trax system is the tracks themselves. It's this unique built-in slide rail that you can mount all kinds of cool stuff to, and it is load-bearing. You can put things like a bed rack on it, or a spare tire carrier across the back, or all kinds of fun stuff. And we have a few interesting ideas that'll probably be coming to a vlog near you.
All right, now for a POV of closing my new ReTrax. Jump up here in the bed. This is the ReTrax Pro XR cover and close test. Here we go. Let's do this. Oh my goodness. That is so smooth. And then this is the locking feature. Close that up. That is super smooth. Compared to the Retrax One, it is far and away way more durable and sturdy feeling. Like, this aluminum is just the polycarbonate on the Retrax One to have a little give to it. It worked fine for protecting my stuff inside and keeping dust and rain and wet out of it. But I think this thing is going to be the next level in terms of protection, and especially how hard I drive this truck and where I take it. So I'm very excited for that. And we've reached the end of our vlog. And this time I'm doing my outro from on top of my Retrax cover. Why? Well, because this particular Retrax cover is rated to withstand a distributed load of 500 pounds. Now, I don't quite weigh 500 pounds, but I weigh enough to make it cool. So please take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and special thanks to our sponsor, and thanks for watching.